A-D-N.
It's HeadphonesNeil!
What's up, guys, and welcome back to HeadphonesNeil Reviews. I'm your host, as always, HeadphonesNeil, bringing you a quick review update for this week, mostly because I just didn't have time to really watch too much for the week. But I will say that I have started a watch through for Farscape. I realized that I had never watched the entire series, so I thought, you know what, being a Stargate SG-1 fan, I know that Ben Browder and Claudia Black were both actors on Farscape, or were Farscape veterans. So I thought, you know what, I've seen the first few episodes or so from season 1. Never thought anything negative about it. I just never got around to watching the full series. So kind of like Stargate Atlantis, I thought I would give it a watch through and see what I think about it. So regardless, I've started watching the show. So once I've gotten enough episodes to start giving my thoughts and feedback, I will start doing that. But in the meantime, The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 3 has premiered, so we do have Episode 1 under our belts. And overall, it was an interesting start to the show. We have Daryl and Carol walking through the countryside, trying to look for survivors, trying to figure out if they want to go back, how they'll get back to the States, and all of that. They meet up with a guy who does claim to have a boat and supplies. He was going to try to leave with his friends, but they all ended up becoming zombies or dying. So Daryl and Carol convince him to take a chance on them, and they try to leave. Ultimately, he gets knocked out because of some carelessness while on the sea during a storm, and they crash land in a mysterious place. They don't know where they are. Ultimately, they figure out that they're in Spain. They didn't quite make it very far. They made it outside of the immediate vicinity of England, but not very as far as they thought that they had gone. So, they crash land. The guy who owned the boat, turns out he became a zombie. Carol gets some physical damage on the back of her shoulder area. So Daryl patches her up, and while he's out going looking for food the following day, or that day, Carol disappears. So part of me initially thought that maybe she had run off trying to figure out what's going on, or just try to like help him out or get a survey of the land. But because of the random people in the skulls that had showed up overnight and stole their supplies, I'm more inclined to believe that either they found out where Daryl and Carol were and they kidnapped her, or as they were passing by, because she was, maybe coughing up a fit or couldn't stay hidden, she had to run off and hide. Daryl finds that out when he comes back after finding or surveying a random truck that had passed by along this path. He calls out to her, and that's where the episode ends. So now Daryl has to go find Carol again, but I suspect it's going to be all connected to who these random people in the trucks are, and possibly even who the people wearing the skulls are. So we'll see how the season goes. It was an interesting opener, so I look forward to the rest of the season, and if ultimately they're able to get back to the States, or if this leads into another conflict of them getting captured and having to escape, take down another group of people who are taking advantage of good people or taking advantage of the situation or anything like that. With that being said, as far as the Voxel Doom gameplay goes, I'm now done with episode 2, The Shores of Hell. Overall, a good progression after episode 1. So we do get some new enemies like the Lost Souls, the Flying Skull thingies, and cacodemons. I don't remember if there's anyone else. I think the Railgunners are new, maybe, but regardless, we have a new set of levels. We find out that I think it's the Deimos base is flat floating over Hell, with the vastly more difficult to kill final boss in the cyberdemon. So if you thought that the Barons of Hell were difficult, the cyberdemon takes that up about like 1,000%. it becomes infinitely more difficult to beat him if you do not have enough plasma cells to take down his health a bunch or to take him out outright. Granted that that level gives you a whole bunch of rockets to take him out, but it becomes one of those things where you have to have a rocket off, because the cyberdemon's rocket launcher is that much more powerful. He's able to launch them at a faster rate than you can. So you do have to use the pillars to your advantage. Do a little bit of hiding trickery, run around the level a whole bunch, and all of that. If you're going to use rockets, you do have to do the same thing if you have enough plasma cells, but it becomes a lot easier if you do have enough just to take them out, because it's that much more powerful as far as the rate of fire goes. So for me, it worked out nicely that I had enough with plasma cells to take him out. So defeating him became that much more easier. So that's my little 2 cents tip. Now 22 years after or 32 years or whatever after the game has come out. So regardless, though, it is a good progression from level 1 or the episode 1, just because if you're going to make it a full game, you do have to introduce some new elements. So you do have more difficult levels, you have more acid and lava pits, you have tighter corners, you have to go a little bit more all over the place to figure stuff out. So they progressed the story that much better. So with that, now we're heading into the final episode, episode 3, Inferno. I'm saying the final level just because it's the final level in the original game. If you start getting into like Final Doom and Ultimate Doom, there is one more level to play. As part of this gameplay, I didn't play it, but ultimately I may go back around to completing it just to see how it is. I'm planning a Halloween, or I'm thinking of doing like a Halloween playthrough of something, of a Doom mod, so I might just do Thy Flesh Consumed for that, but I have not decided as of yet. But regardless, episode 2 is done, so now we're on to episode 3, Inferno. And as a bit of update for Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, that gameplay has started, so if you are a member on the YouTube channel, you can already get early access to that gameplay. So one of those benefits to becoming a member, you get early access to my gameplays, podcasts for the most part, and things like that. So definitely recommend at least subscribing, but if you can, also becoming a member. And one of the things I am working on doing for the gameplay, and I've only been able to test it once or twice as of now, is to do long plays for Knights of the Old Republic. It's testing because while the basics can be done with my testing with Doom, Knights of the Old Republic is a much bigger and longer game to play, so it is a lot more time consuming. But I am planning to do long plays of my Knights of the Old Republic gameplay. So I'm planning on doing it on a a planet by planet basis. So the character creation and Endar Spire level super short, so easy to do, not much work required there. So from here, it's a matter of doing it for for example, Terrace, Dantooine, Tatooine, Manon, Kashyyyk, and then either splitting it up still into 2 for the Unknown World and the Starforge, or just doing one big video for both, because technically it's a Starforge system, so having one long gameplay for that would be nice. So that's the plan for that at the moment. So assuming it keeps going well, then I'll keep doing that. But ultimately, if it becomes a thing where the gameplays are super long, it takes way too long to generate those videos, then I'll stop. But the plan for now is to have those videos out. So members, again, get early access to those videos as they come out, but and then they'll come out on the public feed for you guys to check out as well. So regardless, that's starting now already for members, and then we'll be out soon for everybody else up on the YouTube channel at youtube.com/PatelN01. The website is HeadphonesNeil.reviews for all links, past episodes, subscribing, and all of that good stuff. So That's also a good resource for, social media links, subscribing, and all of that stuff. Again, that's HeadphonesNeil.reviews, and the YouTube channel is youtube.com/PatelN01. But that is all for this particular episode. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time.